Hey guys, it's Mary with Stamps-N-Lingers, and it is just a little after 1. I'm sorry I'm late. I was playing with the shutter. Apparently after the time changed, 1 o'clock became sunshine on my workspace time. So I wanted to fix that so you wouldn't have a big glare and not be able to see what's going on. Give me half a second and be sure I'm actually transmitillating over here off to stage left. Alrighty, I hope everybody's having a good week. I hope that the fact that my page is not refreshing does not mean that my internet has decided to quit me, which is entirely possible. Okay, there, it looks like maybe we're good. Let me pick this up. Oh, hey Rosie, hi Karen. Y'all give me a thumbs up if we're having any if we're not having any problems and you're able to see me, okay, would you? I'd appreciate that. It took a really long time for my page to refresh, which was crazy. Thank you, Rosie. I appreciate that. All right. So here's my card. This is my version of Clean and Simple, and it uses the Waves of Inspiration stamp set, which is wonderful, and the Waves dies. Now remember, this bundle right here, hi Vicki, hi Jaretta, appreciate you joining. This bundle right here will be available in the next catalog, which, oh, by the way, I get to see next Wednesday. Demonstrators get to see the new catalog on Wednesday the 23rd. Yay, I'm very, very excited to see it. And we'll also get to see the new in colors. Woo! Okay, sorry, that was a little bit of an aside. Hey, Marva, hey, Brooke. It also uses the Waves of the Ocean DSP and some of the blue foil. And, of course, the amazing and wonderful Rhinestone Waves Basic Jewels. Now, this is important. Even though the bundle will be available when the new catalog comes out, the paper, the blue foil paper, and the rhinestones will not be. So if you want these, you need to be stocking up right away, okay? Hi, Linda. Appreciate you joining. All righty. Let's go ahead and get started here. One thing I want to tell you is that the Waves dies actually work perfectly in the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So even though it's not part of the sale bundle, just remember this is a bundle of a die set that will work in the mini cutter, which is kind of handy, really. Hi, Debbie. Appreciate you coming. And in fact, I may even use it at some point. In fact, I know I will during this little video. All right, so I've done a little bit of cutting ahead of time. All of these measurements will be on my blog tomorrow, so you will not need to take any notes. You can just watch and enjoy. I mean, I hope you enjoy. I said that as if you're destined to enjoy, but I hope you will. All right, so I'm going to first adhere a piece of basic white to a piece of Pacific Point to make the card front. And this is very, very simple. This first part especially, actually, there's really nothing at all difficult about this card. Well, apparently lining everything up is going to be difficult. Y'all may wonder why I don't use a lot of Stampin' Seal. It's because I need to be able to wiggle stuff because I cannot get it on straight to just save my life. Hi, Janie. I know, isn't it a wonderful bundle? I'm so happy that this is not just a one-off thing and that this is an early release from the new catalog. Now this piece, this is from Waves of the Ocean. It's in Daffodil Delight, and you can see it. You know, they actually poured paint onto a hard surface and then swirled it around and took the photos of it to make this. So every piece looks different. You've got pieces that are blue, mostly blue on one side, and then pieces that are Calypso Coral and Daffodil Delight on the other. Very, very beautiful. Okay, so I have done a few of these little pieces. I got a little ahead of myself there. Because you know why? Because I was yakking. I took the next to smallest stitched rectangle die, which, oh, by the way, just here's another little piece of information that you might want to know about the mini cutter. Every single die in the stitched rectangles will fit in the mini cutter, with the exception of this one largest one. It is too big, but everything else I was able to work through the mini. So if you're looking for something to take to crops or to just have on your table or to do classes with or just to travel with, if you happen to travel, the mini cutter is pretty darn versatile. So for these pieces right here, I've used the next to smallest of I call these the fat dies, and these are the skinny dies. So the next to smallest fat die is what I cut these with, and I just cut 3 pieces of the Waves of the Ocean DSP. So what I'm doing here is I'm figuring out roughly where these are going to go. They may not go in this order, but they'll be roughly here on the card front. And then I'm going to use that to determine where I want to put this strip. Okay, so I want them to bisect. I want it to bisect. So if I leave the card front right here, then I'm going to put this strip on that little line right there. Okay, so let me just push these out of the way. That way I get a nice an even look, and I can put my strips where I want them on the page. Okay, so we're just going to line this up. The mat is the same length as the card front mat, as is the DSP. So there we go, and just kind of make sure it looks about as straight as I can make my eyeball do it. And then I'm just going to adhere these to the card front with liquid glue. Now, this one right here is going to be kind of covered up, so I'm going to make it, this is the one that has the least movement in it, so that's going to be the bottom for me. And what I'm going to do is I'm just centering them on that center strip. And when you're doing this, I recommend that you start with the middle, okay? So really just kind of bisect top and bottom, and then split the difference with the 2 end pieces, okay? That way you're going to have as good a chance as any of getting them straight and spread out. Oh, thank you, Debbie. That's very sweet. Hi, Catherine and Marcia and Janie and everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. Hi, Judy. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start with this one, and I'm just going to use a little liquid glue kind of in the center of the die cut. And I want my card to be kind of straight, my card front to be straight, because that, again, gives me about as good a shot as is possible for me to get that straight on there without, you know, getting my protractor and my ruler and all that other stuff, because come on, man, that's not fun. That's like engineering and stuff, which is way more along the lines of work than fun. All right, so now I'm just going to split the difference here to here, best as I can, and line it up with the one below it. All right, and kind of straight. And I'm kind of trying to peer over the top of my camera here. Okay, and then this last one. And that's kind of it for the cake. I always call this part the cake. You bake in the cake, and then we're going to frost it with the embellishments and the decorations, right? Okay, now, well, I'm going to set this aside so it can kind of think about what it's done. And I've got some die cuts here. Now, these die cuts I cut all with the mini cutter because I could, and I had it. Hey, Alicia. Hi, Dee. And what I have is some of the clouds, and I cut a bunch of everything. I've got a bunch of the big ones, like 3 of them. Got something on that one. Okay, and then 2 little ones. And I've got a few foil birds. I've got 2 birds with 1 stone. No, not really. I didn't kill any birds. I don't kill birds. All right, I have 2 that are in Night of Navy and 1 that's in Coastal Cabana. And this is from the blue foil set, okay? And then I made some of the little cloud details. And I cut a few that are mostly Calypso Coral, and then I cut a couple from the Daffodil Delight portion, okay? Because I think when you use these colors, then it looks like a sunset clouds, right? That's how they look. Okay, so I'm going to make sure I'm going to leave that one aside because it doesn't have as much yellow on it as I'd like. And we're going to do like this. Now, some people would say, Mary, why aren't you using the adhesive sheets? And the reason for that is because Mary's not very good with them. And Mary needs the room to wiggle it around with the liquid glue as I'm adhering these together. If you are better with that than I am, then feel free to use the adhesive sheets. But for Mary, it needs to be the glue. So here's your tip. Thanks, guys. Hey, Gloria. Appreciate you coming. Hi, Heidi. Here's a tip. When you're doing the glue, it's a little tiny, right? If you can hold it with a tweezer, I think you'll be happier. You're going to just kind of think about squeezing glue out, right? You're not going to squeeze glue. It's kind of like ketchup. You got to be patient. You got to wait for it, or you're going to have ketchup/glue everywhere. So just kind of wait for it to come. It'll come and you'll see it. And you can just put a little bit. You really don't need a lot. It's going to squish to where you want it. But if you get too carried away, it's going to squish to where you don't want it. And these little die guys, they line up right on the bottom of the cloud cuts, just like that. Okay, so I'm just going to do that a few more times, which is the equivalent of putting water in concrete and saying, hey, let's watch the concrete dry. What did you do for fun yesterday? Well, we watched Mary glue. It was awesome. The way she handled that twizzer was just masterful. Yeah, you don't have to say that. Okay. I don't even think I can craft without my twizzers anymore. I just don't even think that's a thing. Okay, I got a little glue right there, so I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm going to get my gum eraser after it. If I start screwing with it right now, I'm going to have glue everywhere, and it's going to get the dirt and the oil from my fingers will get into the glue adhesive, and then it'll be, yeah, blah. Hey, Lenny. Hi, Patty Joe. Thanks, Debbie. I know the foil is beautiful. I really love it. I'm not sure what I like more, the foil or the rhinestones. I do know it's the rhinestones. I love rhinestones. I love rhinestones of all colors, and these are particularly gorgeous. I'm just saying. So, see, did you see me get a little carried away there? So I quit squeezing or thinking about squeezing, and I just did a little smearing to move that glue, the extra glue around. If you practice with the glue, you'll get good with the glue, I promise. And then you will realize that if you're ever stranded on a desert island and you can only have one adhesive, I don't know why, because if you've packed right, you left all your heavy clothes, like everything but maybe underwear, at home, and you've got all of your craft supplies in your suitcase. But let's just assume that your suitcase is lost and all you had on your carry-on. Put your underwear and your liquid glue in your carry-on so that you can take it and you will have it on the desert island. Just saying. Okay? That would be my advice to you. What needs to go in your carry-on? Your liquid glue and your tweezers. Okay, so there we go. We have those all done, and I've got a couple of little cloud dealy bobbers left over, so that's good. All right, so let's set those aside. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little stamping and a little die cutting. Alrighty, so I have my Pelican Man, and I am going to stamp him in basic gray on a piece of basic white. Get him good and inked up. And I'm holding it a beat without rocking it so that I can have as good a chance as any of getting a good image, and I did, so I'm happy with that. Now what I'll do is, while that's kind of drying a little bit, let me go ahead and stamp my Sentimente. And I'm using You're So Totally Awesome from Waves of Inspiration. I'm going to stamp it in Pacific Point, also on the basic white. Okay. Again, holding it for a beat. Yes, my dimensionals. I'm going to put my dimensionals in my pocket because there is no way I could do without dimensionals. I think I could take like tree sap and make liquid glue if I absolutely had to, but dimensionals, you'd have to use like leaves, wad leaves up, and yeah, it would be very messy. Okay, this little guy is dry, so what I'm going to do is I've got my light crumb cake Stampin' blend, and I'm going to use it to just color this piling that he's standing on. He's not laying on anything, Mary. He's standing on a pylon because that's what pelicans do. Pretty sure. And I'm just doing a quick color. I'm not worrying about shading. I'm letting the shade marks from the stamp itself do that work for me. Okay, so you really don't have to get too head up. You could, if you wanted to, pull out your dark crumb cake, but I think you have better uses of your time. You can go over the places that you want a little darker. Go over it with just that same light blend if you'd like. Oops, sorry, I just bonked the heck out of the the camera thing. Are we still in frame? Yeah. Let me get a drink, you guys. I'm having a little bit of a, getting ready to have a coughing fit. Hello, Denise from Colorado. Whereabouts in Colorado are you? All right, now I have my light smoky slate, and I'm just going to color lightly, add a little bit of color to his feathers. It occurred to me as I was first doing this, pelicans might actually be brown. I'm not sure. This one is one of the rare smoky slate gray ones. All right, so there you go. Now I have my Bumblebee Stampin' Right marker, and I am very, very carefully using the fine tip end to give him a beak, because no pelican worth his salt doesn't have a beak. Actually, I think they have yellow eyes too, so I'm just going to give his little eye a tap there. Okay, now I'm going to cut these out using my mini cutter. This may shake the table. All right, so deal with it. When you buy the cutter, you're going to get a pad number 1. This is the base plate for die cutting. And then you have 2 of the acrylic plates, the acrylic cutting plates. And you will also get an embossing folder. Okay, so an embossing folder plate. And so if you were doing the embossing with any of the mini embossers, you would use this sandwich. For die cutting, we're going to use this sandwich, which should look very much like the regular sandwich for your cutter. Hey, Amy. They are brown. See, this is one of those rare ones. He was born with a recessive brown gene. See, that's how that happened. And so he's gray. Yes, he is. Also, he's from Louisiana. So he's a Louisiana gray. That's what he is. Okay, now I'm going to first cut out my sentiment, and I'm going to use one of the 2 sentiment labels dies from the Waves die set. I'm going to put it on here as straight as I can make it, which may or may not be straight depending on how good a job I do here. And then we'll set our second plate on top. If you're real worried about it, actually, it's kind of wiggly. Let me turn my plate over. This bottom plate has worked just a little bit already. All right, there we go. That might be better. We'll just line this up, get it straight, and place our second plate on top. Lay it down gently. Yeah, that's still pretty straight. Is that straight? I'm looking at it sideways. Yeah, it looks pretty straight. All right, so let's go ahead and die cut this. Come on, there we go. Like so. Alrighty, let's see if it's straight. Everybody hold your breath, hold your breath. Oh yes, it's straight. Oh yay, Catherine, I'm glad you got your mini. It's a pretty good little tool. All right, and now I'm going to cut my gray, my rare Louisiana gray pelican out and use that die that's in the Waves dies. I really like that you can cut so much out with this set. There we go. Well, that may not be as straight as I wanted, but I think I can fix it if it didn't. No, it's a little bit crookedy. So let me show you how to fix that. Because you know what? It's paper, people. Let me get this out of our way. The white could look a little grayish. See, I've got the sunset in my clouds. Therefore, yes, it's sunset. Oh, thank you, Linda. Whew, appreciate that. All right, all I'm going to do here, see how I got a little bit crookedy? I'm just going to fix that because otherwise I would have to restamp and recut, and I just don't want to. Could if I wanted to, but I don't, so I'm not going to. I'm just going to do a little bit of trimming there, and it'll be fine. It'll be fine, especially given that so much of it is covered by the sentiment. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to layer this little dude. I'm going to do a dry fit now with my sentiment and my pelican. I'm going to clean that up just a little bit right there. And my clouds so that I can make my little seaside scene without any glue. so that I know where everything wants to go. So I'm going to put my pelican about here. How do I know this? Because I'm looking at my original sample, hello. But when I first made it, I had to kind of figure it out. So just dry fitting is your friend when you're building cards like this, okay? So that looks good. That didn't look good. That didn't look good. Stop it. Stop it, Mary. Stop it. Stop it, Pelican. Look, I know you're mad because I made you brown and you're gray and you're supposed to be brown, but deal with it, man. Do not get your feathers in a twist. Gosh, birds can be so persnickety. All right, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but I kind of want to see how it's going to look. All right, now I'm going to take my clouds and I'm going to kind of pile them up, trying to keep kind of, you know, some yellow, some coral, like that, until I make a scene that I like. I'm not going to make a scene in that sense. One thing I'm going to remember is I don't want to put glue down here because I'm going to slide this guy in. I'm not going to put him on first. I'm going to wait until I'm sure where my pelican has gone, and then I'm going to slide my cloud underneath. And I'm going to pile this cloud on top. Okay, so that's about as how I want it right there. So I'm going to start with my clouds. Ooh, winning a mini would be good. A Winnie mini, a mini Winnie. That would be a mini Winnie. See what I did there? Okay. All right, so this one I am putting on with liquid glue. And then this guy I'm going to put on with dimensionals. That way we're going to get a little bit of that cloud is closer to us than the other cloud. Yeah, I learned that in art school. No, I never went to art school, as is pretty darn obvious, I think. Very obvious. Look at that. Even with liquid glue, I put that on crookedy. Well, it's okay. It's fine. All right, so we're going to put that on with our dimensionales, like that. Okay, and then this guy's going to be liquid glue again. Like that. And I toyed with kind of pushing those out past the die cuts, and I didn't love it, so I'm not doing it. And then I'm going to go ahead and put him, because I'm pretty sure that that's where my pelican wants to be. See what I'm looking at? This is what I'm looking at. I don't want to be able to see the piling behind the sentiment. You can make yours do that if you want, but it made me nervous when I saw it. I don't know. It made my stomach go, that's not right. So that's why the pelican needs to go there. I'm kind of holding him in place and then sliding my cloud in behind him. Okay. And then I'm going to put some dimensionals on this one, onto this one right here. Oh, thank you, Gloria. You're sweet. All right. A couple of dimensionals. Yeah, it's true. Definitely the dimensionals are going in my pocket. If we crash land, I don't even have to want to doubt it. I want to be in the life raft and reach in and be like, phew. I have no food. I have one candy bar and I have my dimensionals. I'm fine. I will survive. I will survive. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and use liquid glue to adhere my pelican. And I know he was roughly right there, but I'm going to real quick like a bunny, before he gets too far adherated, I'm going to put this back on and be sure, because this die is just about as wide as my rectangle is long. So I can put him right there end to end. I still can't see the piling in that gap, and I'm a happy camper. Alrighty. Thank you, Carol. I'm going to dimensionalize the back of this and pop it on, and then I'm going to add the birds and a couple of rhinestones. Okay, one. This is for freshly made sketches, so, you know, it's one rhinestone instead of the 7 or 8 that I might have used otherwise. See, minimal embellishments. I'm all about that. I'm all about that, man. All righty. Here we go. Kind of going side to side, centered on that die cut, and top to bottom, and then also straight. So kind of a 3-dimensional, make sure it's right thing. Okay, there we go. All right, now let's see. Where are my little birdies? Oh, birdies, here they are. These are the coolest little die cuts. I just really like them. And you can cut 2 at once, which is, or 3, yeah, 2 at once. It's one that's kind of like, see the difference in the 2 die cuts? Can you see that? And we'll put one right here. And then I think we'll put one right here. Except I'm going to put this, because they wouldn't fly all together in the same color. No. Then we'll go like this. Actually, I'm going to put him up on this popped up one. What do you think? Like that. There we go. Perfect. No. There we go. There we go. Okay, I'm happy with that. Remember, guys, when you're putting your card together, move it around until your brain says, yeah. Yeah, there it is. All right. And then we're going to put our birds back. Yeah, I'm going to miss this foil. It's so pretty. So you get some Night of Navy, you get a Coastal Cabanas, and you get some silver. Oop, stay. Stay right there. Yeah, okay. Do you see how when I talked to it, it popped up and paid attention? Used my card command voice right there. Alrighty, here we go. Darn dimensional cover. That thing's popping everywhere, every which way. All right, and then we're going to put this guy right here. And we're done, with the exception of a little rhinestone. And there's our card front. Okay. Now, on the inside, I really kept it simple. I put a sentiment and a few little birds, and that, as they say in the industry, was that. I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to show you a little something, something. Okay, because I want you to see what I've been yakking about all this time. Remember, I've told you that how straight your stamp works, is dependent on how good a job you did putting your sticker on and how good a job they did putting it on, engraving it onto the rubber. Watch this. This is why you do a test ahead of time. And even though this is not a brand new set for me, I don't remember what every stamp does. So always do a test ahead of time. That's just my hint. So what I'm doing is I've got that in an inspiration and I'm trying to line it up on one of these lines. And I'm going to make that printing look as close to straight as I can. Okay, do you all acknowledge that that's pretty straight? Okay, wait until you see what it does. Okay, so somebody didn't do a great job getting it straight. But what that tells me is I need to find straight and then just turn it a little bit. Okay, is it going to be perfect? No, but it's going to be way better than if I had just stamped it straight up. Okay, so let's see if I can put my Stampin' where my mouth is. So I'll make my card panel straight as I can get it. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get it straight as I can see, and then I'm just going to tilt it that way a little bit, okay? Everybody hold your breath. And then I'm going to set it straight down. And then we're going to be happy possibly that there's a second side to this card front. Okay, here we go. See, I think that's pretty straight. I can deal with that right there. I couldn't have dealt with that, but I can deal with this because that looks straight to me. All right, so I'm going to put my Pacific Point away, get out my Coastal Cabana, and take this little bird guy. I don't know why, but this little bird image really makes me very happy. Gonna make sure that he's stamping nice, and then I'm just going to put a couple of him right here. Yeah, this bird makes me very happy. Like I said, I don't even know why. It doesn't even make sense because it's just not that. I mean, it's just not all that in a bag of chips, but it really makes me happy. All right, while I have this out, I will go ahead and decorate the front of my envelope because that's all it's getting too, is a few of these Boyds. Now, I will tell you a little tip. These little stamps like this, you can see how I've got ink all over the edges. Really important that you not rock the boat, okay? Because look how easy it is to screw this up. Oh, now I can't screw it up. As hard as I'm trying, there, see, you get the halo, the dreaded halo. So just go straight down, hold a beat without rocking the boat. Okay, and then we'll put another one right here, like that. Okay. And if you get a, lost your bird stamp, it will show up. It will show up, I promise. Stop looking for it, and that's when it will show up. Okay, so let's go ahead and mat this inner liner on some Pacific Point cardstock using liquid glue. The Pacific Point and Coastal Cabana is very pretty together, isn't it? I like it a lot. And then when you add the coral and the daffodil on the front, it's really pretty darn perfect. I've got a thick basic white card base, and I'm going to go ahead and put this, I should probably put it in right side up, don't you think? It'll be so much better. Although it would be fun, like on April Fool's Day, to send all your cards upside down. And you could even pretend like you did it on purpose. So if you have upside down cards in your stash, mail them all for the 1st of April. All right, and we'll close that up right quick. Put some dimensionales on the back of our card front. Y'all, there's still some time left to get in on the super duper tutorial bundle. Just a $50 purchase, and you'll get 6 older not retired, although there are some retired products, but you'll get some older tutorials, all of which pertain to the bundles that are in the current Savings Are in Bloom special. And then you'll also, of course, get the Daffodil Daydream bundle, which is part of the benefits of being a customer in the month of March with me. Alrighty. I'm on the video. Okay, I'm on a video. You'd think after all these years he would know that when that door is closed, to not hop in the house and go, "Mare, mare." All right. Normally I wouldn't answer, but he would just keep going, "Mare, mare." Alrighty, there we go. So there's our card base, our card. It's not the base, it's the whole card. And now I'm going to put a little bit of my Waves of the Ocean DSP on my envelope flap. I know, Pacific Point is really gorgeous. He said hi back. No, he didn't. He's back outside. We'd been waiting most of the day for UPS. You know, you get the text that says you have a delivery coming and you have to sign for it, which for us is like nightmare words because we've got the gate and it's never open, and we aren't one of those rich people that have the cameras at the gate or the, "Hello, it's UPS. Can you open the gate?" We don't have that. So we have to leave the gate open for them to come in. And so at first it says, "We'll be there between 10 and 2. And then at about 11:30 it goes, "Yeah, we'll be there between 1:15 and 5:15. So basically, could you just stay at home until we decide to show up? It's like, okay, great. That's awesome. But apparently they decided that 1:30 was a good time. So that's good. We have to make some effort to get them to come to the house instead of the barn, because the way the road looks, it actually looks more traveled to go to the barn. Amy's been here and she can attest to that. Amy, I don't think you ended up at the barn the time you came. But I may have come to the gate and opened it for you, and you might have followed me in. But we have people end up at the barn all the time, delivery people, when we leave the gate open. All right, so there we go. Waves of Inspiration, the bundle with the Waves dies, and the beautiful Waves of the Ocean DSP. I really, really love how that little guy is tucked in there with all the clouds and the birds. It turned out very happy for me. All right, guys, I appreciate you, and I hope that I will see you on Saturday for my YouTube at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great rest of your week. See you on Saturday. Thanks so much. Bye.